Hello guys, I am Celine, one of the cost counting assistants in this semester. Today I will give some exercises for chapter 18, which is about process costing, where there are two methods to calculate process costing with weighted average method and FIFO or first in, first out method. In this video, I will not explain the material anymore because the material can be accessed through Mrs. Evony's YouTube. I have included the link in the description box below. And without further ado, let's jump into problem 1. So, there is Bubu Company manufactures car seats in its San Antonio plant. Its car seats passes through assembly department and the testing department. And this problem focuses on the assembly department. The process costing at Bubu Company has a single direct cost category, which is direct materials, and a single indirect cost category, which is conversion cost. Direct materials are added at the beginning of the process. Conversion costs are added evenly during the process. When the assembly department finishes work on each car seat, it is immediately transferred to testing. Bubu Company uses the weighted average method of process costing. Data for the assembly department for 2020 are as follow. So, to do these exercises, there are 5 steps to calculate the process costing. For the questions A, you need to do the first and second step, where the first one is to summarize the flow of physical units of output, and the second one is to compute the output in terms of equivalent unit. The first thing we need to input in our schedule is the physical unit column. Here, the physical unit column, we input the unit as shown in the table here. In the data, we know that the beginning working process is 5,000 and started during October is 20,000. Therefore, we can sum this up to find to account for, and then completed during October or during the current period is 22,500. For the working process ending, it is 2,500. So the accounted for and the to account for is the same. If the problem doesn't give you the amount for ending WIP like this, we can calculate it from to account for. As we know that this is the same as the total accounted for here, so we can just, if we doesn't know the ending working process, but we know this one, so we just have to minus this one accounted for minus the completed during current period. Okay, the second step is to compute the equivalent units for each cost category. For units completed during current period, both each cost category is full as the completion is 100%. So, and then for the ending WIP or ending working process, the information told us that the degree of completion for conversion costs in ending working process is 70%. In the problem, we know that the direct materials are added in the beginning of the process. So the direct material cost is 100%, but the conversion cost is 70%. And the equivalent units, we just need to sum it up from the direct material cost and conversion cost in unit. Okay. Next, question B requires us to do step 3 and 4, which are to summarize the total cost to account for and compute the cost per equivalent unit. To calculate that, we need to input the cost for beginning WIP as shown in the data in the problem. And for the cost added, here are the costs added. Okay. And then we just need to sum up all of this. For the beginning working process, direct materials, plus the conversion costs, and the same for cost added. And for the total production cost, we just need to sum up all of this. Okay. Next, the fourth step, we put the earlier total cost. We compute here for the direct materials and for the conversion cost, and then we put the equivalent unit for the conversion cost too, and then we divide the total cost by equivalent unit, and here we achieve the cost per equivalent unit. Question C is the last step. We need to assign the cost for each unit completed and transferred out and ending working process. To calculate the cost, we need to multiply the equivalent units in each cost category with the cost per equivalent unit here. And then we need to sum up all the costs. Completed during current period equivalent unit times the cost per equivalent unit. And then the same goes to conversion cost and for ending working process too. Okay. Next, the total production costs on this one. Okay. To check whether our answer is correct or not, we can see if the total cost in step 5 is already the same with the total cost in step 3. Here. If you get it right, it is highly probable that your answer is correct. But make sure that you make it right from the very first step here. If you already got it wrong in the first step, then maybe you cannot get it right for the last step. And next, question D requires us to prepare the necessary journal only for the transaction in October 2020. To record the direct material, we put work in process for assembly in debit and account payable in credit. And then for the amount is direct materials cost for the cost added because it is the cost incurred in this period. And then the next one for the conversion cost, work in process assembly, and debit, and various account and credit. This is for the conversion cost incurred in October 2020. And then the last one, because we have completed and transferred the units from assembly department to the testing department, we need to journal it as work in process for testing in debit and work in process for the assembly department in credit for completed and transferred out. Move on to problem 2. In this problem, we need to use the computation for FIFO method. Mima Corp is a manufacturer of birthday souvenir. It has assembly department and finishing department. This exercise focuses on the finishing department. Direct materials are added when product reaches 60% of completion. Conversion costs are added evenly during the process. Mima Corp uses FIFO method of process costing. The following information for August 2020 is available. So this is the data, and then using the same step as the first problem, we summarize the physical unit first. And the difference between weighted average and FIFO is when we calculate the completed units. This one. Wait, let me input the working process for the beginning. It is 1000, and then started during current periods, it is 3500, and to account for, just need to sum it up. When we calculate the completed units during period, we apply the FIFO method, which we also input the beginning work in process into our calculation for the completed units. And after that, we know that the total units is 3000. So the beginning WIP is 1000, and started and completed is 2000 from 3000 minus 1000. Next, for the ending WIP, the problem doesn't give us any information for the ending work in process, but as we already compute the total physical units, we can compute the ending work in process too. Just like this. So the ending work in process is 1500. Second step is to compute the equivalent units. Under the FIFO method, the equivalent units of work done in August on the beginning work in process inventory equal 1000 physical unit times the percentage of work remaining to be done in August to complete these units. And it is 1000 for direct materials. And then 60% for the conversion cost, because the beginning work in process is 40% complete. So the remaining is 40% 100% minus 40% times the 1000 physical units. The equivalent units of work done on the 2000 physical units started and completed equals 2000 unit times 100 for both cost category, direct material, and conversion cost. Because all work on these units is done in the current period. And then for the equivalent units of work done on 1500 units of ending working process equals 0% times the 150 for direct materials, because all direct materials for these units are added when product reach 60% of completion, and 55% for the conversion cost, because 55% of the conversion cost work on this unit is done in the current period. So we got the equivalent units. And move on for the question 2. We calculate the total cost to account for. The amount is shown in the table and we just need to sum it up. Okay. Next, for the cost per equivalent unit, the step for computation of the cost per equivalent units of work done in current period only for the direct materials and conversion costs. So we just need to add the cost added in the current period. Okay, not the total cost to account for. Different from the weighted average, where we put the total cost to account for. In this FIFO method, we only put the cost added in current period. Okay, so we already got the cost per equivalent units. And last step is where the cost of work done in the current period are assigned. So the first one, to the additional work done to complete the beginning working process inventory. But we need to input the cost from the beginning working process first, and then the cost added to beginning working process, which is the cost per equivalent units times the equivalent units from beginning working process. Okay. And then we just need to sum it up. Okay. And the second one, to work done on units started and completed during the current period. And the same for the ending working process. Okay. And then total cost accounted for. Okay, it's the same with total cost to account for. Or in the step 3. And that's all. We are all done. So that's all for the tutorial today. I hope you guys can understand the material, and if there's any questions, please ask your tutor regarding the questions, and don't forget to submit your homework here on Friday. And thank you for listening to this tutorial. Have a nice day.